Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Transmog video. This is the second one that I've done on my characters. The first one is already up on the channel, and it went up a few days before this one. Today I've got three different characters. Two of them are transmogs. One of them I've got the transmogs sorted. It's just the drop rates have been a little bit annoying, but item lists for everything are down in the description, so be sure to check them out. Now, first of all, this is a monk. It's a Night Elf monk, and, well, a lot of the monk gear doesn't really look that good on non-pandas, and to be frank with you, I think there is some Five Nights at Freddy's level shit going on with pandas. I mean, seriously, look at a panda, compare it to the size of a human, that is just creepy. Really, you think they're small and cute? No, they're creepy. So, I've got this Night Elf monk, and the gear set is actually a pretty simple one to get. It is the Ulduar 25 player. I believe it's like the rogue stuff that's obviously not the tier, which is why you can get it. Again, item lists are down in the description. And then the Headpiece is a leveling one. I believe it's from like the Eastern Plaguelands or something. What I really like about that Headpiece though is just it doesn't cover the whole head. It kind of suits like sort of a monk or a rogue. And I know this isn't a particularly monkish looking set, but nonetheless, it's one that I like. I like it quite a lot more than the monk tier or anything like that. And it works very well with the Night Elf female model. I think just like with the Druid, actually, I just like how this model looks really nimble, and I think it suits leather sets very well. And in terms of the weapon, I'm using I believe it's the Arena Season 3 Pain Saw, which of course has been used because the color matches. And overall, I'd say of the sets that I've got prepared, this is definitely one of my favorite ones. It's not stupidly flashy, but at the same time, I think it's got enough going on to keep it interesting. And next we've got my rogue. Now this set does look sort of simple, but there are a few other shoulders and things like that I've got in my bag which can spice things up a little bit. But fundamentally, this is a set that I actually like quite a bit for rogues. It is the Trial of the Crusader stuff, basically. Just grab that tier. And what's handy about that is it's actually quite convenient to get. And when I was choosing weapons, I noticed that the shoulders here had a bit of a blue glow on them, so I put on just for the transmog, Blade of Unquenched Thirsts on those. And then I thought, well, they're glowing, maybe I can try some other stuff out. So if I pop into my bags here, I think it actually works quite well with these shoulders, and these are the shoulders I believe the drop from Cho'Gall. I think that's kind of, I don't know, it looks like it should make a lot of sense in my head, and maybe this is a completely random subjective thing, but for some reason I kind of like it. Now, what also works is if I go back to the regular shoulders, and then if I just enable being able to see my helm, that's the wrong setting thing. There we go, display, show. Oh, I am showing helm. Weird. In that case, I just need to put it on. And I also think that looks pretty cool. I don't think using both of them works that well. It kind of unbalances the set a little bit. I just think that looks pretty decent for a little bit of flair. However, the interesting things with this do not stop here. If I go on to Atlas Loot, and then we have a look at... actually, no, let's just go on to Mogit. Mogit is a very, very good add-on. If I go to Leather, and then to Shoulders... I know I probably should find a way of making this a little bit more streamlined for the video, but if we keep on going down, okay, I also think that can, actually, if I just remove the helm from my character, well, this is kind of a bit of live transmogging here, but I think that these shoulders can actually look kind of cool. As you can see there in the little character preview, they just didn't drop for me, and if you want shoulders that actually match the color of the set, then these golden ones work pretty well too. Of course, if you were using these golden ones, then you would want to maybe change the weapons out a little bit. But overall, I think there's a good bit of potential here, and it's a nice base set to tweak around with, and it's what I'm currently using for this character. And finally, we've got my Death Knight, but don't worry, that's not the transmog. I had absolutely terrible luck getting the pieces for this, so we're going to be looking at it inside Mogit. I've actually got the set stored, so if I go to Preview, Show Previews, and then I'll load in... I just have it called DK Fire 1. Now, this is a hybrid of a few different sets that I think looks pretty cool. So, you've probably noticed there's some of the offset Paladin stuff from Firelands there, but I don't really like the robe that comes with that, so I've actually transmogged it with this, the Heartshatter Breastplate, which comes from, I think it's Mother Shiraz, or whatever she's called, in Black Temple. And overall, there's some things which probably could be better. For an example, these gloves, maybe I could get better gloves for the set, but roughly what you can do here is just play around with some of the various fiery themed things. What I really like though is you've kind of got the cool top with a bit of a sort of deeper red around here. That's also reflected in the chest plate, and I like how the chest plate sort of looks like a dragon or something, which I think is definitely quite nice. And then the colors of that also match these legs, and the legs are... Actually, I just need to turn on Mogget again and load in all of these modules. I'm just going to click on all of them for the sake of not having to fiddle around with things. Oh, okay. Well, we'll move this over here. Yeah, these are just the heroic legs, which oddly enough work very well with, yes, Safraz or something, which work really well with these, with this particular chest. In terms of the cloak, that's the cloak that I'm going with at the minute. It drops from, your man, the final boss of the Sun Thingy of Eternity, Majig. I'm not good at words today, am I? The Sunwell Isle thingy place, you know the one. So that's roughly what I'm looking at for this set. It does take quite a lot of raid farming, unfortunately, and I'd imagine this would be a lot easier to get on a paladin because you could just farm up the tier tokens for the head and the shoulders. What I definitely learned though when I was looking at this particular transmog set and putting it together in Mogget is there are loads of fiery themed sets, and you can sort of mix and match them in a pretty good way. The belt here is actually from Ice Crown Citadel 25 normal. I'd probably change that out for something else though. I was at one point transmogging this with the shoulders from, I think, Ice Crown Citadel, and that also worked really well. So this is a tentative set at the minute, and I will put all of the items down in the description, but this is what I'm aiming for with my Death Knight. The reason why I don't have it done on this character is because it could take like 5 or 6 weeks, and at the end of the day, whether it's actually on this dude over here or this preview, it doesn't matter, the set's the same, and I may as well let you know. In terms of the weapon, I'm just using one of the two-handed swords from Firelands. However, the two-handed sword from Dragon Soul actually does look quite well with that set. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the transmog sets today. I will try to have my other characters leveled up to 100 and transmogged, probably within the next fortnight, so leave any suggestions and let me know what your transmogs are. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.